Good morning. You're listening to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
The number one news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley.
That's us.
In the studio next door.
Mm-hmm. That's not a little black dress.
Lancaster City Manager Mark Bozigian is here.
Oh, that had nothing to do with the little black dress.
No.
No, okay.
No, it didn't. Sandra Johnson is here.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Christ is here.
Wow.
They want to come on the show next week.
Oh, absolutely.
So I said, that's great. We've got Director Browning from DCFS next week.
Yes. Fantastic.
And in maybe about 15 minutes or so, today would have been, and it is, Gabriel Fernandez's 9th birthday. Today on the show, after our 8:15 break, we will have his grandfather, Robert Fernandez, on the show.
Yeah.
He'll update us a little bit.
Yeah, I won't.
On what's going on over there. And if you remember, he about a month ago, I think, he lost his wife.
Yeah.
It's been a very rough year for that gentleman.
Yeah.
Very rough year. Tom Lackey put out a press release this morning. Tom Lackey has added more endorsements.
Uh-oh.
He received endorsements from the Lancaster City Council member Sandra Johnson, former Palmdale Water Board member Raul Figueroa, Isaac Barcelona, Caroline Rodriguez, who is the president of the Palmdale Chamber and also owns several McDonald's. One is on 47th and S.
Oh, yeah.
Lou Gonzalez is now endorsing Tom Lackey, and so is Gus Camacho.
Wow.
So his campaign's moving forward.
Yeah, apparently.
Maybe Gus can make him a green screen commercial. Have you seen those commercials?
Yeah, I have.
What? You put on that...
Are you going to ask?
Put on what?
Go ahead.
Ask what?
No, go ahead. Ask him what he's talking about.
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, good.
No, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Little guys floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the video that I sent to you guys on Facebook?
Yes, I saw it.
Hello.
They're coming for their kids?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's all fake, right?
It's not fake. It's real.
It's not real.
It's real.
Angelina, for those of you listening, she thinks that she saw a
I didn't say I
UFO.
saw. I didn't say I saw it. I reposted someone's videotaping of a UFO in the sky.
It looks like a Goodyear blimp going into a cloud.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Look, but I'm telling you, I don't
believe.
I think it's something other than
They're coming
aliens.
For their kids.
You guys, come on. I'm telling you, no.
Speaking of outer space, when is the Oscars?
Well, nominations are happening now. Hey, what is
I'm so sick of those gravity commercials. I want to scream. I want to gouge my eyes out every time I hear one of those.
They say it brought in $278 million. $270 million of that is just going to advertising.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Oh, man. Because it's a
how is it that we live in a country that has no money? How do we keep saying that we have no money?
Well, we have money. What do you mean?
We're in a recession. Nobody can do anything. Everybody's broke.
Everyone's broke. Governor Brown yesterday threw $640 million at our drought.
Yeah.
Okay. California's got problems, but here's $640 million.
Right.
Yeah. I found it in the Parks account.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yep.
Exactly. I turned on CNN, and Harvard just got a donation of $150 million. Huh. I'm like, oh, Harvard, that's a school that needs it.
Well, Hollywood was still hit in the Depression, but they were able to make it through because people wanted to escape the reality that they're mired in. So they went in full force to the movies. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's much different than where we are now. That's where you get the $280 million. People trying to get away from the hell their life is.
Yeah.
No, people have money. Did you see? I posted yesterday on Facebook. Actually, I reposted a post that Mark Zuckerberg had posted yesterday. Mm-hmm. Facebook bought the WhatsApp.
What is that? I never.
It's a social media app. They've got about 450.
I like it.
Yeah?
Do you use it?
I just like the name. I haven't even tried it yet.
See, now a lot of people don't know what it is, but they have 450 million regular users. Okay?
It's not me. Apparently.
But get this.
Well, what is it?
But Facebook, okay?
Yeah?
Facebook spent $19 billion to buy that company.
Wow.
19 billion.
$19 billion.
What that means is that we all need to, when we're off today, get the app, because obviously it's the next big thing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
But you don't know what it is still.
Right. Now, here's a company. Here's a company that 450 million people are using this app, but nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? They spend $19 billion to buy it, and the $19 billion is more than Sony's market cap.
Wow.
Okay? Now, what would you rather own, Sony or WhatsApp?
WhatsApp.
I'd like to sell WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Don't play. Mark is no sleeper. If he bought into it, we need to see. Look
They
at
bought
this.
the company.
Producer is like, what?
And you know what he did? He bought the company in lock, stock, and barrel. Everything.
Yeah.
And they're moving every single employee is now going to be an employee of Facebook.
Oh.
So they kept
just-
every
You
single
could
That's fine.
absorb the
That's fine.
functionality.
Yeah.
And,
That's fine.
right. Every
And
single
that's great. Could you
19
imagine
billion.
you were part of a startup company? A lot of people were joining, and a lot of people kept questioning, what is it? And then all of a sudden, someone comes in and says, Facebook owns you. Now you feel uncomfortable.
right.
oh, yeah.
Facebook owns me.
Facebook they're paying
Yeah, it's not
40
some guy.
Shoot.
Yeah.
they're paying $42 per user.
Yeah.
Is basically the cost. Now, if you wanted to buy Facebook, you could do that for $170 per user.
Yeah.
Oy.
Okay? Yeah, times a billion.
Well, I'm going to download the app, and I'll be the one who knows what it is.
Okay. Please inform me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go get it.
I don't know.
I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
None at all. Do you remember Bree Walker? Mm-hmm. Do you remember her? Yes.
Yeah.
You remember her? Mm-hmm. She was on ABC. I think she was a newscaster on ABC, or was it NBC?
She was NBC.
She actually she became famous really because she was married to this guy, some guy, and she was having an affair with another newscaster
Oh,
who was
dear.
also married at the time,
That's new.
Jim Lampley. And then they each divorced their respective spouses,
Yes.
and then they got married.
Yes, I do recall.
Okay, she was driving in Anaheim.
Anaheim.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
right on Ball Road there,
Uh-huh,
right
Ball
by
Road.
Disneyland.
Right.
Last night, 1:00. She got pulled over for DUI.
Oh.
Failed all
So
the
the grass
tests.
wasn't greener on the other side after all.
No, failed all the tests, and
Poor
she
thing.
went to jail.
Well, she should.
Yep, as she should.
Drunk driving is no joke.
No.
Like, that's crazy. I don't even get it. Especially if if you got $30 in your pocket, maybe 50, just get a cab.
Yeah.
Just get a cab.
Yeah, she had to have a little bit of cash on her.
She had to have.
You know what? Her mugshot.
She looked tore up.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, she's
She
really
looks-
unhappy.
She looks
really
just
swapped down.
abused. Okay?
Swapped down.
She just looks a mess.
Wow.
Okay.
Let me see. Is that
Yeah.
her?
No, that's not.
Oh,
That's terrible.
God.
Just forget that. Just.
Is that what
that's
she
terrible.
looks like, though, vaguely? Oh.
Oh
are you
yeah.
serious?
Well. Okay. At the public meeting in Lancaster on Tuesday, they had an expert, Dr. Kauser. And he is an expert at the Voting Rights Act.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Has testified in dozens of cases all over the country. All right? Studied very closely Lancaster's Voting Rights Act compliancy. And has determined that Lancaster is in compliance.
Who bought him?
What?
Really?
Yeah, who paid for him to come on and
Who's that director I was talking about
Wow.
the other day?
Man, you know.
Oh, the filmmaker? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Roman Polanski. Yeah.
No, not Roman Polanski.
Oh, Woody Allen.
Woody Allen, yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. But he basically said that they're in full compliance.
Well, you know
and
what? In all fairness, you should. I mean, yes, it's a striking comment, and yes, on any other day I would go in hard on him, but based on what? Like, let's find out what was he basing it on. How did he come up with this with this answer. And what is the what does the panel look like in Lancaster? What's the color ratio? What's the nationality ratio?
It's not about that.
what-
It's about people on the east side getting their potholes filled.
Well, no, what he said was,
That's what everybody tries to tell you. It's not about.
It's such a flip flop. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's such a flip flop. Because what are you talking about? I always heard that it was about, being represented by your kind,
Yeah.
which is offensive to me.
Yeah.
what he said was, he found that Lancaster's at-large elections have complied with the act. More specifically, where racially polarized voting may have existed in some prior elections, the candidate of choice of the minority group was elected.
What?
Yeah,
How do
you
you
gotta
do
think
that,
about
though?
that.
Do you just go and you check the votes and say, okay, she's black, put all the black ones over here, and let's see who they voted for? What is that?
Yeah.
Why do people
Yeah.
think that we vote based on color? Who did we vote for before Obama?
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Bill Clinton.
Before Clinton. Did we not vote before? Were black people not part of that whole thing? Were Latino? Who do Latinos vote for?
Did you guys have the right to vote before Clinton?
Wow.
I will still say, I think a general election is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
I think so too, Steve, because there's so many different stories. There's so many different takes on it. And certainly we don't want to take a position that is not a valid one. But it just seems that we really are not getting the clear answer as to what the position is. So since it's so convoluted, just put it on a ballot and let the communities, both communities,
well, they had it
decide.
Palmdale had it on a ballot about 10 years ago.
And they said no, they didn't want it, right?
The voters said no.
Okay, so I'm sorry that
All right.
I don't want to get yelled at.
Let's take a break. We'll try to be timely today.
There we
Let's
go.
take a break. We'll come back with Robert Fernandez. You're listening to AV Newscast, and we'll be right back.
If you're thinking about getting your backyard in shape for entertaining, there's only one place to shop, and that's Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. At Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale, you'll save up to 70% off retail every day at our factory warehouse showroom. Abadak has everything you need to get your backyard in shape, like 7.5-foot tall, 41,000 BTU freestanding LPG patio heaters for just $159.99. How about a fully enclosed backyard gazebo? Fire up that barbecue and enjoy a nice meal inside one of our Mandalay, Trinidad, or Mykonos freestanding gazebos, just $219.97 every day. If you want wholesale prices, come to Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. How about backyard shade or car canopies? You can pick a variety of color choices starting at just $129.97. Stop by Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. We're located at 38940 Trade Center Drive, 1 block east of 10th Street West. The Abadak Factory Showroom is open from 8 to 4 every day. That's Abadak Outdoors at 38940 Trade Center Drive in Palmdale, where you'll save up to 70% off retail every day. Check us out on the web at abadak.com or give us a call at 661-480-1562.
There's a school in Palmdale that's become the talk of the town. It's called the Guidance Charter School, and many parents say it's magical. The Guidance Charter School is WAS certified, scored 783 in academic performance, and has an educational curriculum that exceeds what the state of California recommends. The curriculum is enriched through age-appropriate exposure for information technology, arts, foreign language such as Arabic, and physical education. The Guidance Charter School is now going to have a full CIF sports program with soccer, basketball, track, cheerleading, and more. They're an open enrollment school, publicly funded, and have been in business for 12 years, fully approved by Palmdale School District. The Guidance Charter School has small class sizes such as 20 students in grades K through 3, 25 in 4 through 8, and just 30 students in grades 9 through 12. Call the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale today at 661-272-1701. That's the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale, 661-272-1701. And check out their website at thegcs.org. A better high school choice.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
Hey, how are we going to get Robert mic'd up?
Yeah, he's good.
He's mic'd up?
Mike.
Yeah.
Robert, it's nice to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
Today is Gabriel Fernandez's 9th birthday.
Yes.
9th birthday. And I remember, How long has it been? Has it been a year?
Almost a year, yes.
Almost a year.
Almost.
I know this has been a very hard, it's been a rough year for you. I know most recently you lost your wife, and you've got our sincere condolences on that.
Absolutely.
This has been very difficult, and I want to tell you something, and I haven't said this on the air, but I'm going to now. What transpired with your grandson? What happened? That shed a lot of light on a lot of situations, and because of that, Angelina has decided to help children, and she is going to become a foster parent.
Yep. I
So
sure
that
am.
kids that are in the system that need a home, a safe home, that's what she wants to provide for them.
Absolutely. And I think of Gabriel often. I think a lot of people do. But it's absolutely because of what happened to your grandbaby that I've made that decision. I just want to do what I can, and at the very least, what I can do is open up my home for children that need a temporary shelter. And I think more people should think about it and contemplate. And it's a hard decision because of I didn't know, I've never met your grandson, but what happened to him moved all of us. I mean, it was earth shattering. It was almost like it happened to our own family member. And it was very difficult to talk about, very difficult to go through day-to-day life. And I can't even imagine what you guys went through. Just speaking about how it took a toll on us. So at the very least, this is what I'm going to do, because that's what I can do. So I hope it does help, and I hope it does make a difference.
I want to thank you for that. Being a parent, it's a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You see them grow up, and you try your best, and sometimes things don't turn out to be the way you want it. They grow up to be adults, and they make decisions. My daughter made a decision.
Right.
And I want to just say happy birthday, Gabriel, his 9th year. Yes, my wife did pass away, and right now I'm just, void. I'm, the first week I was already contemplating, death. Because without her, it's not the same. I got my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter. She's pregnant again. But at the same time, I know she's going to be well taken care of, But at the same time, I don't know what to do. She was with me for 35 years. And it hurts. It hurts real bad because I know for a fact that it's like my daughter told me yesterday. My sister did it on purpose. Whatever she did, she ended my mother's life. She died of a broken heart. She was never the same, And I don't want to say this, but I do regret coming to Palmdale. It was my daughter's decision, Pearl, for us to be living up there for, because of the rent and stuff like that being cheaper. I'm from the valley. I was born in Pacoima, and it's hard up there. But at the same time, I have to live with this, and I gotta learn how to ask God to help me because right now it's real hard, It's real hard.
Well, at least you'll have your new grandbaby to focus on, and you've got to, pull out the joy that you can see, and lean on it and focus on it and make that be your beacon, because I can't, I don't know how many times we can say that we can't imagine it, but, having said that and knowing that, that's the only thing that you could do is focus all of your existence on the hope and the happiness that you do have in your family.
Yeah. My wife was my strength, She was going through a lot with dialysis. She had already lost part of her heel because of an infection, and she lasted months, and it hadn't healed. I just came back that following day. I had taken her to the doctor in the valley. They had already checked her. They did some grafting on the skin, and it was already healing. And I remember my wife and my daughter telling me, she had seen Gabriel and she was ready. He was there for her that night. And we spoke, and I thank God I had the opportunity to tell her to forgive, and she forgave, And that night she turns around. I go in the living room, take her into the room. As I'm doing this, my daughter's in the living room, and she says goodbye to her. And my daughter all of a sudden turns around and says, "What are you saying, Mom? Why are you telling me goodbye?" And that was it, you know. And everything else transpired the way it did. I remember waking up and screaming at her because she was like, you know, with her eyes backwards, and I'm telling her, I did still have the opportunity about 3 o'clock in the morning, waking up and telling her I loved her, and she said, "I love you too," and she fell back to sleep. About 5, I wake up and I see her sitting up. She looked ghost white, and I couldn't, you know, she was like, kind of like dead. But I did help her, you know. I did call 911 and I spoke to her, and she looked at me and she closed her eyes. But she had already told my daughter that night that Gabriel was already there waiting, you know.
And she believed that.
Yeah, I went. I was at the hospital. They worked with her. They gave her CPR for about an hour, you know. And the doctor kept telling me, you know, this is it. You know, we've worked on her for about an hour plus. And I didn't say nothing, and about 5 minutes later, her heart starts up again. And he looks at me and says, "Wow, this is good. We have you inside." And a minute later, it stopped again, you know. And they worked with her for another hour, and finally he says, "You know, we're just hurting her. We're not doing anything, but you got to let her go." So I decided to let her go, you know. She was suffering with a broken heart, you know. And she's my strength right now. I look at her and I hold on to what she is, you know. Yes.
Well, she's in a more peaceful place now.
Yeah.
And like you said, she's with Gabriel.
Yeah.
And that's got to give you some strength and comfort. I'm hoping. But this has been a very difficult, there's no question about it, a very difficult year. I know that Pearl and her boyfriend, they're still in the arraignment phase.
Which is ridiculous.
And this is how the justice system works.
What
the
is
next,
this, like, going to be number 7? Or?
The next hearing, I believe, is sometime in March. I think March 18th.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's moving very, very slow.
The courts,
You know.
they make a glacier look like it's speeding.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You know, it's, well, next week, as I mentioned, we're going to have Director Browning on from DCFS. I know that because of Gabriel, it turned that agency upside down.
Absolutely.
And they have been working. You know, they actually took one of our shows, and they used one of our shows as a training video for social workers. And they have it on an internal internet site here in LA. I know that they've made a lot of changes. I know that a lot of agencies, you know, it used to be, Robert, that even the sheriff's department didn't have access to information that DCFS had, and vice versa. And because of what transpired, that is now changing as well. They're putting a lot of checks and balances in place. They're making a lot of training changes. Social workers are getting retrained. New social workers coming online are being trained differently. You know, they even talk about the fact that now they have iPhones, okay, for instant communication. You know, I'm perplexed as to, you know, in today's technology.
That wasn't already.
Why can't we take a look at what we have and see if there's problems and not let it take the death of a child to get to the point where we've got to fix things?
Yeah, I'll never forget being at his school. There was a memorial held at his school, and I was there, and Angelina was there, and his teacher was talking, and she talked about that he was this number student in our class, and this was his desk, and you know, like other people that have retired, she actually retired his number, and there'll never be another child. They will skip over that number. And that just, it just wiped me out. It really just emotionally, hearing her talk about that and retire that number, in his honor. It was tough.
Yeah.
And this is something that I looked at the Facebook page for Gabriel the other night. 58,000 friends. 58,000.
Because it goes on,
Okay.
and it continues, and
All over the globe.
it's horrific because every time you look at it, every time I get a post from Gabriel's page, it's another horrific account on another child that has been abused, has been killed, and it just boggles my mind.
Or a missing child, or an
Or
Amber
miss-
Alert,
yeah,
or I
something,
know,
and
I know.
and it's just
Let's take a quick break. You're listening to AV Newscast, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Now into the song and dance.
This weekend, go on a Jurassic Quest. For the first time in this area, a dinosaur event unlike anything you've seen before. Experience the sights and sounds of living, breathing, even walking dinosaurs. You'll be awestruck by over 50 life-size dinosaurs. See the massive, ferocious animatronic T-Rex attacking its prey. Be amazed by the colossal 18-foot tall Triceratops and 40-foot Apatosaurus. This is the largest dinosaur event in 65 million years. See Velociraptors, Spinosaurus, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Albertosaurus, and many more. Your Jurassic Quest will be educational, fun, and hands-on. Many activities for kids of all ages, like dinosaur rides, face painting, crafts, coloring, inflatables, and more. Uncover huge T-Rex and Triceratops fossils. Ride the 15-foot-long animatronic T-Rex. Play on 5 towering dinosaur inflatables. Much, much more. Be careful. There are roaring dinosaurs walking around. An all-indoor event, Antelope Valley Fairgrounds in Lancaster. Saturday 10 to 8, Sunday 10 to 7. Get ticket info at JurassicQuest.com.
Hi folks, I'm Chuck Simons, a realtor with Keller Williams. Are you finding yourself buried in your house payment, completely stressed out and don't know what to do? Please listen to what I'm about to tell you. First, understand that you are not the only one that's having problems. Many folks in the Antelope Valley are going through the same thing. What's most important right now is that you take control. Just because you've been turned down for a loan modification or received a notice of default doesn't mean you can't be in control. You own the property still. You can be in control, and I can help. I know how stressful it is. I know what it is to be in the dark on this. I've helped a lot of people in the Antelope Valley, but you have to take action. Call me, Chuck Simons, at 661-350-1006. I want to help you. My team and I will meet with you for free, and we'll go over your options. Don't just sit back, bury your head, and lose your house to foreclosure. I can help you, but you have to call. 661-350-1006. Together, we'll draw up a roadmap to relieving the stress. Just because you're not able to make the payments on your house doesn't mean you don't have options. You do. I can and I will help you negotiate a short sale with your bank. I'll explain all the benefits and how you can rebuild your credit. Call me, Chuck Simons, at 661-350-1006. Let's solve your problems together today.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
Hey, Robert, we've had your attorney, John, on the show a couple of times. What's transpiring with your lawsuit against DCFS, the LA County Sheriff's Department, the Palmdale School District, et cetera, et cetera?
Right now, a couple of months ago, I know that he put the complaint, and he was going to go and talk to, I think, Browning and get a disposition. That's really it. I'm supposed to go later on this morning to go and, he said, sign some papers. So, but other than that, I've been thinking about the Blue Ribbon Committee. I don't think that's happening yet unless, I don't really know nothing about it. And that was my biggest worry, And you just got through saying that there's been changes, But at the same time, you're still hearing about kids being abused and murdered, in other states, here in California, And I pray that these people realize that they have to step up, because these kids, they have no way of defending themselves.
No.
There's no way. And if you see anything and you pick up a shirt or pants and you see a bruise, take them in, let them get an ultrasound, an x-ray, and see. They could see bruises and broken bones and everything like that,
Well, Yeah, and in your case, in Gabriel's case, you also had a mother that was not truthful, that was lying.
Well, you're not supposed to believe. You know what I mean? It's like if you come across a kid that has a bruise, and the mom going to say, "Yes, I did this"? I mean, they're not.
No.
Yeah,
No.
like.
But the
they're not.
mandated reporters and the people that should have stepped in did not step in.
Right.
And that, and that in and of itself was terrible. But I know that, Director Browning has said that he wants to make DCFS here the best that it can be anywhere, and
Yeah.
he wants this agency better than any other agency in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making a lot of changes. That doesn't bring Gabriel back,
No.
but because of what happened to Gabriel, every single child going forward in LA County is going to be that much safer and that much more protected because of what transpired. And people that abuse kids are not going to get away with it.
I hope not.
That sounds real good. I mean, when I die, that's one thing I'm going to go with, knowing that it's not just Gabriel, but the others that have already passed and suffered and been murdered, that there be a change, because who do we depend on, when we get older? Ain't it the kids that are going to be taking care of us as we get older? So we got to understand that, we got to make the changes, and that's the only way we're going to keep them safe, And it's not only them, but all the departments, the departments failed. And we got to find out the school, the sheriffs, police, whoever, the departments that are out there helping. Elderly too, there's
Yeah.
elderly people that are being abused and murdered.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said many times, the teacher at his school, who really loved Gabriel, she said she did everything she possibly could have done, short of
Kidnapping him.
being thrown in jail for kidnapping. And I've said, you know what, I would have done it and thrown me in jail. I don't
But you
care.
wouldn't have thought to do
Okay.
it. You wouldn't have thought that your calls were not going to be followed through. If
Right.
she would have thought that her calls were not going to be followed through and this was going to be possibly his future, she probably would have.
Right.
Steve.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She probably would have. Hindsight clears up everything, all doubt. So she really thought that her calls were going to take this young boy away from this abuse.
No, I know that. And the sheriff's department rolling up to an apartment building that gets a phone call about possible child abuse, and they don't have access to the information to know that, oh, well, wait a minute, this is also the same child, that there was a
Right.
call from the school,
Right.
there was a call from this unit in this apartment building. There was no sharing of information.
No.
Now there's going to be sharing of information.
Everything should come up.
I can't understand the incident that I saw the other day on J3.
Oh, yeah.
Why they didn't take that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, at least until this guy is he's threatening his girlfriend with a gun. He's disappeared with a gun.
But it doesn't mean that she's not capable of taking care of her child.
No, but the child is in danger while this guy is on the loose.
Yeah, but do you take the kid from the
For
mother?
protective custody? Yeah, or
No.
take her. Yes. The child is in imminent danger. Until that guy is under wraps.
I don't know.
No.
I don't think
Or you
so.
take her. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I
then
could
what if
say,
the baby dies
I
then?
could say, you have a child, so that mandates you to have to move somewhere else. I could see that being something that should be entertained. She doesn't have the opportunity to stay somewhere that he's familiar for the safety of the child.
Well,
But to take the child, that's a little extreme to me.
Her judgment is clearly not good because she's screaming at her father for ruining her
Yeah,
life.
no, I get that
because
she's a lunatic.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
That's reason
But
enough.
but it doesn't mean. But you can't just arbitrarily just start taking people's kids. That's not. First of
To
all,
save
they don't
their
have-
life?
No,
Potentially?
but it's not. It's not necessarily the case. It is the case that she's a lunatic, and she's fell in love with somebody that's harmful to herself and possibly her child. So someone needs to say, listen, if you want your child to be with you, you've got to make better choices for your mate. And that means that you have to, mandate her to stay away from him, mandate him to stay away from them. You know what I mean? Do those things. But you can't, who would have their kid? There's all these lunatics out here.
I'd have my kid.
And I would have mine too, absolutely. And
You can take a kid away if you're nodding off on heroin,
But
and the kid's just sitting in the living room.
Domestic violence, for instance, women get beat down. Their boyfriends go to jail for a while. They come back and they want to love upon them again.
And
those kids are still in the house.
You're reinforcing my.
I think I might be. I should have thought of that.
Robert, Pearl hasn't really been arraigned, so she hasn't entered a plea yet, right?
Yeah, I was there yesterday, the day before, in court, and no, there's no plea yet. I spoke to the district attorney, Brower, and she said, sometimes what they're trying to do is cop a case or get a something less, a plea, and they turn on each other, and I think that's what they're trying to do.
Are they offering her a plea deal?
Well, the district attorney says, he wants the death penalty.
Oh.
But the thing is that it's not up to her, she said. It's up to, they go in, they talk about it, but the thing is that if they plead to something before they actually take it to court, then they probably get something lesser than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to, I'm thinking that's what they're doing. They're going to point the finger at each other.
I personally, I don't believe she'll ever get out of prison.
No.
Okay, I don't, and that would absolutely be terrible. If and this is going to be a little bit of a hard question, Robert, but let me ask you this: if it was up to you, would you want Pearl in prison for the rest of her life, or would you want her to get the death penalty?
Actually, I was talking to my wife the other day, and Pearl was there at the house, and it was my birthday when she left. And she got arrested that same day or the next day. And I could tell you that I seen my daughter pick up the phone, and it was her boyfriend. She looked upset and she looked mad as she left the house. And my wife turns around and says, "What's wrong?" And she's like mad. She could see it in her face expression. And she says, "Tony wants me to go home to make some dinner," like that. And she leaves. And I feel, and I told my wife, it could have been, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying what I've heard, what Ezekiel and Chacha, Virginia, her son and daughter, gave testimony that she kicked him, but he was hitting him. She came and I told my wife, what would have happened if, in her anger, and he's hitting him, and she comes up and she tries shutting him up and she kicks him. I don't know if that caused his death, and I think the autopsy said that his kidneys failed when the guy broke his ribs. That's my understanding. But at the same time, I told her, I know what I'm talking about. It was not like premeditated. It was just that anger thing that it happened. But at the same time, I know for a fact that it wasn't the first kick. It was the abuse they did to him. For
the continued abuse.
Yeah, the 2, 3 months, whatever they did, it all came up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So, yeah, if she gets the death penalty, it's like I said, there's 12 jurors and there's a judge and there's God. And God is the worstest thing, that when you die, you answer to what you've done here on earth, if you believe in God. But God, I'm not God, and I'm not judging. But I wrote her a letter, the first letter, a couple of months ago, and I told her, you need to repent. Because right now it's too late to take anything back. You need to seek God, because they're in jail. You're not finding nothing good. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be able to function in jail without God. And I pray that she repents. I pray for Tony to repent and look for the Lord too. Because it's going to be hard in jail, And if she does get the death penalty, and if she gets life, it's going to be at least, I pray, 20 or 30 years before she gets out. If she gets out.
Would you be okay with her getting a death sentence?
It's like I said, I'm not the one that's going to be.
No, I get you're not going to be the judge,
No.
but I'm saying, would it sit okay?
You're saying whatever happens, happens.
It's going to happen, because there was no mercy for Gabriel, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no mercy. God shows mercy. I show that I've forgiven her and I love her as a daughter, but there are consequences behind your actions.
Right.
you know. And it's like my daughter told me yesterday. She says, some of my friends called me up and they asked, how am I doing because of your mom passing away? And she told me, you know, I want to tell them this and I get angry. And this is what she tells me. She says, if I could, Dad, I'll tell them, how about if I killed your mom? How would you feel? See? But she's young, you know, and we tend to say things out of the blue. And she's hurting, and she's telling me about her sister. Because her sister was bad to her, too, when she was very small. When she was born, I know for a fact that she took her spotlight, you know, and that's the way kids are these days. We got to make sure that when we love our kids, we love them the same. There's not one better. There's not this better, because that's what starts things. There's envy and there's jealousy. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I do understand. We have to take a break. I also want to mention that they are listening to the show right now, and I just got a message that next Wednesday at 8:15.
Is it court?
No, Director Browning will be on the show.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a break. You're listening to AV Newscast, and we'll be right back.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
If you like what you have and you want to keep it, you have the choice to do that.
President Obama and Nancy Pelosi are the problem. Conservative Tony Strickland is the solution. Tony Strickland is running for Congress to repeal Obamacare and replace it with common sense free market solutions. Strickland will introduce a balanced budget amendment to get spending and debt under control and create jobs. We know Tony Strickland will fight for lower taxes and smaller government in Washington, because that's exactly what he did in Sacramento. And Strickland won't back down. We can't get rid of Obama and Pelosi, but we can send a strong conservative like Tony Strickland to make them stop.
I'm Tony Strickland, candidate for Congress. I'll help repeal Obamacare, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Strickland for Congress, TonyStrickland.com.
Hello again. This is Bob Alvis of AV Veterans Talk here on News Talk 1380. When you hear this,
Mustang 6 Golf Foxtrot cleared for takeoff.
That means you're getting ready to fly. And that's just what we do every Friday from 11 a.m. till noon, right between Dennis Miller and Sean Hannity. Each week, we fly right into the subjects that are important to our Valley's veterans and pay tribute to those who have served and sacrificed on behalf of our country. So tune in and join our formation. Check us out on Facebook at AV Veterans or call us at 266-4420. So for now, it's Wheels Up and Blue Skies. Bob out.
Today, you hit the snooze bar. You checked your email. You checked your fantasy football team. You rejected an insulting trade offer. You ate your lunch. You did all the things that one normally does the day before a 175-mile-per-hour hurricane blows through your city, leaving it in a state of ruin. You never know when the day before is the day before. Prepare for tomorrow at ready.gov/today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
Hey, during the commercial break, Robert and I were talking, and it's Emily that runs the Facebook page, right, Robert?
Yes.
Okay, and she's been on the show, and you just made a comment off air, and so I'm going to repeat it, that, it's the lawsuit, the legal action that you brought against the Sheriff's Department and the Palmdale School District and the LA County DCFS system itself. This is not a lawsuit about money. This is a lawsuit designed to effect a change for every child that's in the system.
That's correct. Yes.
And that has to be your fight, okay? Right now. I mean, I know there's no question about it. And you even said, after you lost your wife, you really, you felt like you wanted to leave the planet. You were all done with this. But you've got to fight. And this, you're not just fighting for yourself, but you're fighting for your wife, for Gabriel, and for every other child. 12,000 kids.
Right, because
in LA County.
No one else could bring that the conclusion home but him.
No.
That's it.
And
we could all say that it's a great fight and get behind it, but if you're not there to see it through, there's no chance. There's a good chance that it won't get seen through.
Yeah, you have to, and you John, your attorney, and his whole team that he's put together. You guys are out there. Yes, it began with Gabriel, but it's about 12,000 kids out there in the county that you guys are looking to affect a change. And you are already, because they've made tremendous changes, DCFS has so far. And, it's a very large agency. Changes don't happen overnight, and they have so many things that they're putting in the works because of what came to light with your grandson, with Gabriel, that, every other child is going to be safer. And agencies outside of LA County, throughout the state, and in other states, are going to start looking at this as well. So you're going to end up affecting a change from coast to coast. That's pretty powerful.
I want to say something. I just want to tell the kids out there that or parents, they're red flags. When you see a kid or the kids that can't speak for themselves, they need to go to somebody that's going to listen. I pray that it be the sheriffs or school or whoever, And this 911 or this call toll free, it's like I said, it works sometimes and sometimes it didn't, but it doesn't. And for my grandson, my son, it didn't work. How many calls were called? We got to make sure that when they get that call, not to just go in and try to take the kids, but maybe take them, like I said, to a hospital and find out with an X-ray or an ultrasound. You could find things out quick.
Right.
Sometimes it's not physical; it's emotional. It's something that my grandson, when he got that reward, I seen his spirit broken. My grandson always had a smile, and when I seen him, I knew that my daughter had hurt him inside. And for me, that's the worst that you could do to a human.
I know this is hard, Robert, and I'm sorry. This is something that's Angelina's having a hard time with this. This is something that's bothered all of us. And I'm sorry. I wish I could make it all better, and I can't. But you're going to make it better for all these other kids that are out there.
You have to do it for them all.
I sure couldn't think of a better legacy for Gabriel, though.
I remember back when we originally broke the story, and Angelina had to walk out of the studio because she couldn't take it. And again now, this bothered her so much she had to get up and walk out of the studio because it's just very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. But you've got to keep going forward, Robert, and you've got to keep fighting your fight for Gabriel, for your wife, for every other child that's out there. Not just in LA County, but from coast to coast. Because everybody's looking at this. I ran a search last night because Robert and I spoke on the phone yesterday, and I ran a search last night. I just wanted to see. I saw every single news agency, from Reuters to AP to ABC to CNN, how many times every agency on the globe has talked about this story, and I was amazed. I was blown away amazed at how many times this story had been populated all over the world. Okay? Over 5 million times. That's a huge amount. Okay? You've just got to keep doing what you've got to do. You know that we've always been here for you. And as I told you, off the break, Director Browning this really bothered him. And we could tell that this was not an individual that had a high-level position within an agency that was trying to pass the buck and pretend that this gripped him emotionally, right in the heart. This really bothered him. And he's working hard to make changes. He's working very hard to make changes. And it doesn't happen overnight. Now, he's going to be on the show. I know that you aren't supposed to be talking to them. But he is going to be on the show Wednesday. And we'll let him know what you had to say on this show. And I'll probably send him a copy of the show.
Absolutely.
Because I want them to understand that this is something that has torn you apart.
Yeah, and it doesn't go away.
Okay? And this is not something... Yeah, no, it doesn't go away. And this is not something that is about money. This is about affecting a change. A major, major change. You know, and when you and I spoke yesterday and we talked about the fact that today is Gabriel's birthday and you wanted to come on the show, you know, I feel it's very difficult for me. I feel really bad bringing you on the show, talking about something that is just ripping your heart apart.
Yes, because that's not our intention at all. Our intention is to make sure that people are aware and are motivated to get behind whoever we need to get behind to make the changes to keep the kids safe. If there's people that are harming these kids, it's our duty as human beings on this planet to do whatever is necessary to keep them safe. So we don't want to exploit your pain at all. That is never our intention. Like you said, Steve, that is not the point. In some instances, media's presence on things like this do a world of good because it makes everybody appalled and it motivates people to make the changes that's necessary, like this.
I just want to pray for those that are in mourning, those that have lost a loved one. You know, I know it's hard. You know, it's like I said, I'm Boyd. Although I have grandchildren from my other son, there's 3. There's a couple of them actually, but my wife and Gabriel, you know, when you have them at home and they're not there anymore, you sometimes will turn around and you expect them to go through the door or you wake up and you expect them to come in the room, or those are the things I miss, you know.
I know, it's the emptiness.
A lot. And it hurts. But for the ones that are mourning, I pray that God will lift them up and strengthen them, you know, through their hard times. Because it's not easy to sit there and say, you know, and I know if you were in my shoes, you know. But there are a lot of people that lost loved ones and their kids too, and family members, you know. But I expect to see my wife one of these days, I pray, in heaven, you know. And those that believe in Christ, those that walk in the Spirit of the Lord and believe in His words, they'll be there, you know, with their loved ones, regardless how they died, you know. I thank God that my wife didn't suffer. She closed her eyes and she went to heaven where she belonged. And I'm praying the same way, you know, that when I die, I get that opportunity to be with them, you know. Yeah. I want to thank again the radio station for having me here. And I know, you know, Browning does feel, because he is a parent, I'm pretty sure he's a grandpa, you know, and he does have family, you know, and friends. And if you're a human being, you have to have feelings, you know.
He does.
You know, and I thank him for trying to make that change. And I pray that all the other departments will follow through too, make changes.
We'll talk to him exactly about the changes, okay? And we'll get back to you. We're at the end of the show. Robert, we're always here for you anytime you want to come on the show. Thank you. Thanks for making us the #1 News Talk radio program, and we'll be back tomorrow.